I'm Andrew Coyote and I'm a sophomore at the college. My position specifically is Undersecretary General for Crisis Committees, which entails that I'm in charge of all the crisis committees at the conference.
My name is Susie. I am a sophomore at the college and my position is Chief of Staff for MUN, which is our collegiate Model UN conference.
Sebastian Hughes, Senior Director General of MUN.
Basically what you're doing is it's Model United Nations, so you're simulating committees.
Yeah, it's very complicated to explain to someone.
Model United Nations is basically a simulation of the actual United Nations. So you can think of it as pretty much a role play of the characters that are actually acting out the UN and solving international issues and acting out global crises. So we basically bring that in more of like a simulation, acting out, kind of dumbed down version.
It's basically simulations of a governing body that you will have to make decisions on. MUN is fully college people, so we have about 200 so delegates coming from different colleges, and it's probably the most competitive because everybody who did MUN in high school, the best of the best, are the ones who continue it in college.
MUN, for starters, the audience that we're targeting is really different. It's a collegiate conference, which means that whereas WMIDMUN looks at a middle school audience and WMIDMUN looks at a high school audience, we look at college students. So because our conference is on the national circuit, the awards that students get at our conference counts for national rankings for schools. Every college usually has a competitive team that goes out to different conferences. We also have a competitive team, the William & Mary Model UN team, and they usually travel, I would say, 3 to 4 times a semester. And depending on how they do at those conferences and the number of awards they get, it adds up into a national ranking of how good they are relative to other schools that are competing on the circuit. And MUN was, not recently, but I think 3 or 4 years back, registered as an official conference that would be factored into that national formula / national rank. So that's also increased a lot of our delegate attendance too, because when people know that they can get awards that count for something, they have more incentive to come to the conference.
WMIDMUN is solely educational. There are no awards or anything because what we really want is we want to provide a platform for middle schoolers to come into the Model United Nations world and just kind of like get comfortable with debating the topics or speaking in front of large groups of people. We don't really want them to have the pressure of awards, or we don't want them to get hyper competitive because we want them really just to learn and have the best experience possible.
Middle schoolers are a lot younger, so we did a few debates on like whether water is wet, and like what came first, the chicken or the egg, and that was like some of the examples that we worked through just to get them to be less nervous and get comfortable speaking.
I think one of my favorite aspects of it is just being able to see all these middle schoolers, and like some of them want to be there, some of them it may be a required course, but either way they're here and they're talking and they're in debate, and sometimes they just get very into it, they get really passionate. It's really cool to see the middle schoolers just get so energetic about like pertinent topics depending on committees. Those committees can be anything from United Nations-based committees or regional bodies, or if you go into the realm of crisis, which is what I'm in charge of, you get into really fun aspects.
Part of the reason why I'm on MUN is all crisis simulations, which means that you get updates in real time about stuff that is happening and you have to deal with that crisis. And it's very fun. The delegates who come will try to solve an issue. It's really fun because you get to go in and you get to give updates that really make it harder for them, but it's also like it's a back and forth.
I would definitely say MUN is my favorite in that I think the opportunity to meet other college students from a national circuit and also just from different schools is really rare when you're already on campus and you're so busy doing just campus work. So I would say that kind of getting that 4 days of exposure to other people from other schools who are also interested in international relations and also passionate about global issues is a huge pull that MUN has compared to other conferences.
You get to meet so many different people who are your own age that are coming here, and it's really a good introduction to what MUN is when you go to other school conferences.
Leading up to the conferences, you see like everybody who's staffing, all the students at William & Mary who staff the conference, from directors, people in charge of committees, to maybe the general staffers, the media staffers. You see them all in sort of like a student aspect, but then once the conference happens and everybody gets into the conference mindset, it's really cool just to see what people do. I love seeing the middle schoolers and like how they can excel in committee. But also it's really seeing how staffers can excel as well.
Well, MUN is open to anyone who's interested in staffing. It's always in April, it's around late springtime, so if you're interested in staffing, you want to get to know more about what MUN does, feel free to come out to the IR Club meetings or shoot me a message, let me know, and we're happy to have you.
You can always use your help. Always a lot of people to manage.